Welcome to the new Workology Go Podcast. In just under 5 minutes, we'll get you the HR and workplace news you need before you start your day 2 times a week. Get ready, get set, and go with the new Workology Go Podcast.
Here are today's HR and workplace news headlines from the Workology Go Podcast. I'm Jessica Miller-Merrill. This podcast is sponsored by HSA Bank.
No matter how much we try to avoid it, politics is present in the workplace. I'm not talking about workplace politics and jockeying between managers and teams, but American politics, especially in light of the upcoming presidential election. A study reported by Scientific American found that 87% of employees read political social media posts at work, and 80% of those polled say they have discussed politics with professional contacts or colleagues. Politics is more than just Democrats versus Republicans and the great political divide. People have strong opinions about topics that have traditionally not been in the workplace. There are things like gun control, climate change, and immigration. I know I have some opinions about these topics, especially in light of recent events, and I know you do too. Today's featured article comes from The Washington Post and is titled, "A Cage is Not a Home. Hundreds of Wayfair employees walk out in protest of sales to migrant detention centers." To give you some background on the story, hundreds of Wayfair employees walked out on the job in June after workers discovered that the company had sold $200,000 worth of furniture to a Texas detention center housing migrant children. The Boston-based retailer, which has not publicly addressed the employees' concerns, made a $100,000 donation to the Red Cross. The Red Cross confirmed the donation and said that it would put it towards funds in its efforts helping with the border crisis in Texas, Arizona, and New Mexico. Employees said the donation was not enough and called on the company to create new ethics guidelines that would prevent future business with contractors overseeing detention camps for immigrants. Protesters held signs that said, "A prison with a bed is still a prison, and supplying is supporting." Earlier this year, I talked with Councilwoman Wendy Berry, who ran for office in 2018 in her city ward in Minnesota. Wendy shares her unique perspective as an HR leader who also ran for office and is currently serving her term. I asked her, should employees be political at work?
That's a tricky question. And I think 2 years ago was when that topic got even more touchy, with the 2016 presidential election. And admittedly, someone had come to me directly saying, my coworker has this sign and it's offensive to me. And right away I jumped on that person's side. I was like, oh my gosh, me too, we got to take it down. But I had to step back. As an HR practitioner, I was like, I agree with you, and that person's entitled to their opinion too. And the sign was really big. So that's a different story. But I think it's important that we know our employees are passionate about things, and we have to let them be their true selves. And we have to let them be their true selves in a respectful manner to the people that they work with. Right now people are scared of losing their rights in some cases, and that's something we have to acknowledge. We need to offer them opportunity to be scared, and not tell them that they can't talk about it. But we just have to make sure that they're allowed to do that in a way that's safe for them too.
I think that's important. Any advice for those HR pros out there that maybe a manager has come in and said somebody has a big sign, or they're saying things in the break room and I don't agree with that, or can you take care of this for me? Do we stop those conversations, or do you think that we should let them continue?
I think we have to let them continue. We have to let them continue in a respectful way. If someone's screaming at someone in the break room, that's different. But we have to let them continue. We can't tell people not to bring their true selves, their full selves to work, and expect that not to be part of it. As long as it remains respectful, just like any other conversation, I think it's appropriate.
Employees are becoming not just politically conscious, but also socially conscious too. The expectation is that an employee's interests must align with the organization's mission and values. It's part of the reason that employees are choosing to work and stay employed at certain organizations more than others. I know I'm personally taking a more active stance when it comes to social causes and politics. You'll see more from me in Workology during this upcoming presidential election. Your employees are also likely to feel this way and start acting this way too. And it's a challenge as HR leaders and representatives of the business to find that happy balance, allowing employees freedom of expression that focuses on a company's business goals and employee performance goals.
With health savings accounts, flexible spending accounts, health reimbursement arrangements, COBRA, and commuter benefits, HSA Bank is simplifying the health account experience for over 35,000 employers and 2.7 million members alike, inspiring everyone to own their health. Learn more at hsabank.com.
And that's this episode of the Workology Go podcast, sponsored by HSA Bank. We're your go-to for HR and workplace news. I'm Jessica Miller Merrill. Thank you for listening.
To learn more about the Workology Go podcast, subscribe to us on Apple, Google, and Stitcher. Our podcast is also available on Alexa and Google Home. Learn more at workology.com/Go podcast and access this episode's resources, links, and reports for more information.